Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are talking about the first Descendant. I've been playing this game for the last couple weeks now. I believe it came out June or July. I've been playing it for a while. Basically, I've been trying to get the platinum. I'm super close. Basically, have one trophy left, and but it's just a lot of grinding stuff. So I figured now would be a good time to give my thoughts and opinion on the game. I've played like 70 plus hours in the game, so I have quite a bit. I have 5 characters unlocked along with almost a 6th character, so I've done quite a bit of stuff. I have completed the campaign and done pretty much everything there is to do and just kind of doing, you know, end game stuff. And so before we get into it, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. We do stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. as well as Saturday at 8 a.m. and both of those are Mountain Standard Time. So if you guys are interested in that, it'd be super cool to see you guys jump on the stream, come say hi, and yeah, make sure you're subscribed for that so that way you can be notified whenever we go live. Also, I just want to say that this is unscripted, so I apologize if I ramble a lot. I didn't make a script or anything for this. This is just my off-the-cuff thoughts after playing a little bit of the first Descendant and getting almost all of the trophies and whatnot for it. I played about 70 hours for it, so I apologize if I ramble a lot. Very unscripted. This is just my thoughts. First off, the first Descendant. This game has been out for a while, and I know a lot of people have already got their videos up and their reviews up. And like I said, I tried to get the 100% before doing this, but there's too many games that are coming out, especially the end of August, that I want to make sure that I have, you know, time to do that as well. And so I kind of just want to talk about some of the things that I really liked about the game, as well as some things that I didn't quite like. So first off, going on some of the things that I did like, I think that the gameplay itself is pretty fun. I enjoy all the weapons and the movement. One of my favorite things is actually the grappling hook. I think it's really nice. It kind of reminds me of like the Halo Infinite type grapple. Unfortunately, you can't like grapple items and chuck them or anything, but it does have its uses, and it saved me from death quite a few times. And you can even like grapple enemies and, you know, zip towards them and knock them out and stuff. But for the most part, all of the gunplay feels really nice. There are quite a few different weapon types, and even those weapon types do feel unique enough that they don't feel samey, if that makes sense. So I have really enjoyed that. It's kind of like a mixture of like a lot of other games kind of smashed together. Now, one of the other things that I did really like was all of the characters or archetypes, or however you want to say it, heroes. They are all different and have their own unique abilities, which do make it fun to mix and match different characters. For instance, you have Bunny, who does a lot of the electricity-based moves. She's actually really powerful. She was my second character that I ended up maxing out. I do have 3, or almost 3. I'm on my 3rd one right now, completely maxed out to level 40. But all of the characters are different. Bunny's your electric base, does a ton of damage. I started with Ajax. He's more of the defensive one. He doesn't do as much damage, but he has like some shields. He's got a shield wall, a lot more of the defensive abilities. Plus, he looks really cool. And then the one that I have almost to level 40 now is, I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she does the teleporting. She goes invisible and will throw like the daggers and whatnot. So there are quite a few different characters that all have their own unique skill sets. So that is really cool. I did really enjoy that. They do have lots of gear. That's another thing. This is a hero shooter, looter shooter type deal, where you're constantly getting new weapons, you're constantly getting new upgrade materials for either your Descendant or mods for your weapons and mods for your Descendant. And so you're constantly getting these new stuff. So it is kind of fun to mix and match, and you can kind of build your own little builds based off of those. For instance, for Bunny, I found a lot more like electric-based things that would enhance a lot of my moves for those. So that was really cool. As far as like gameplay, I think the gameplay does look really good. A lot of the graphics are really well. I've been playing on PS5, so it's been really good for the most part. I've had a few hitches here and there and some pop-in, but I've never had any big gameplay crashes or anything like that. Now, as far as some of the things that I didn't quite like, I do think that the story is pretty generic. You know, it's big bad guy finds super powerful device and he takes them, and now we gotta go get these big devices. It's the same storyline as like Anthem. Same storyline as basically Thanos going around collecting the stones. So we've seen this particular story played out many times, and this is no different. It's got its own unique twists and whatnot, but for the most part, it is pretty much the same. One of the other things that I didn't quite like is that the beginning of the game is probably the worst part of the game. They introduce a lot of different mechanics and things at you all at once, and so it kind of gets overwhelming a little bit. But as you play throughout the game, especially once you get your bearings, and the end game specifically are actually a lot of fun. Especially like the boss fights. The boss fights are all really cool. I haven't fought in all of the boss fights yet, as the level goes all the way to like 100 something, I think 150 or something like that, and I only have fought in like the first 5. And then there's a hard mode too, which I haven't really done anything in the hard mode, but they do have lots of bosses. The only thing that I would say that I don't like about the bosses is that all of the bosses are in like this tech type world, almost like an animist type style, where you're not fighting them in the open world, which I thought would have been really cool. Is like, it's not really open world, but like you're fighting them out throughout the world and the areas that you're going in. One of the downsides though is that they have like these mini bosses at the end of each region, and they're kind of all the same. Although they do look different and whatnot, they're all very much where they have a few health bars. Once you get the first health bar down, they spawn a bunch of these orbs, and these orbs create a shield around the boss, and then you got to shoot all the orbs off to do damage to the boss. And so every single, I want to say mini boss, because they're not like huge like the big bosses are, but they're the end of each of these big main missions, and they're all the same. It's either that one, or they'll spawn a bunch of enemies, and you have to shoot all of the enemies that are helping supply a shield for the main guy. So it's either of those two. So I wasn't a big fan of that. Another thing is that very early on, a lot of the missions are very repetitive. And that's the thing too. You'll start to see that as you play throughout the game. Granted, when you get further along in the game, they start introducing other types of missions, but especially if you're first starting out, the first couple hours of the game, you're doing missions where it's like, follow this little droid around and while it collects data, or stand on point A, B, or C for X amount of time and defend the area, or collect all these little orbs and put them in this little square trash can thing. So they're all like the same mission, and it did get really annoying. Especially at the beginning, but like I said, the late game for this is actually pretty fun. I remember I was talking to a coworker recently, and he's like, how do you like the game? I was like, man, I don't really like it. But then, a few days later, I was like, you know what? Actually, I take that back. The late game has actually been really fun, especially those boss fights have been really fun. Getting these legendary weapons and all that other stuff. And those are kind of like the big things that I just didn't quite like, was the mission structure at the very beginning. And also there's a ton of monetization things in this that are just really ridiculous. For example, I saw there's this skin for Ajax. I think Ajax looks really cool. I like the design of him, and I'm like, oh, let's look at this ultimate version of him, which is just the ultimate armor. It's not giving you any extra perks or anything like that, at least as far as I know. But when I look to see how much it is, like the whole, to get the set, because you get his helmet, his chest piece, and then I think you get like a few other little things, but it's like $70, and I'm like, holy cow, like that for a skin, that's ridiculous. And there's a lot of other stuff that are very similar in the monetization stuff, where they just cost so dang much. But other than that, this game is free to play, so I don't really harp on it too much, especially because it's free. It's like you don't have to spend any money. Granted, you can unlock characters faster, and you can unlock legendary materials and the blueprints and stuff like that much faster. But if you just play the game, you can unlock a ton of that stuff. I have several legendary weapons already. I have, like I said, I have 5 Descendants already unlocked, and I have a 5th one almost unlocked, but not quite. And so, I have Ajax, Bunny, the Poison chick. I'm forgetting all their names. And I have the girl that's got the spacesuit on that does the water stuff, and then I got the dagger chick that turns invisible, and I almost have the guy that's got the robot arm that chucks the grenades. So there is lots of stuff that you can unlock that you don't have to pay for. So like I said, I don't harp on it too much because it is free to play. I know a lot of people really ding it, Now, if this was a $70 title or even a $40 title, I think I would be a little bit more critical of that. But because you can get all of it for free, I don't harp on it too much. Especially like the grind for it isn't too bad. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the gunplay is really fun. I do enjoy all of the customization, and you can definitely mix and match a lot of things and finding all the weapons. Boss fights are really fun, and then just like the areas, they have tons of different areas you go to. You got a desert area, you got a swampy forest, you got like inside like this tech pyramid thing. So there's quite a few different locations that you go to. Yeah, the story isn't super good, and I'm big on story games. I love that. This is a game that you play with players. Play with friends. So the story is kind of a back seat. It's more or less there to justify why you're going from point A to point B. Like I said, this is definitely a story that's been played out many times before. One of the last things that I do want to talk about before moving into my final thoughts is that this game is, like I mentioned, it is a multiplayer game. It is designed around playing with friends, and you can very much see that, especially on this happened quite a bit at the very beginning, where I got on and there was just nobody in that specific mission that I was doing, and so I would get smoked. This happens in the beginning of the game and also late game as well, and so it's very much focused around having a team of 4 with you. And yeah, it does say that it adjusts the difficulty, especially like the boss fights, depending on how many people you have. But 100%, there have been times where I'm just playing by myself and I easily get smoked. Where if I'm in a team and I get downed, you know, someone can pick me up. Like I said, this is very similar to like Outriders is what it makes me feel like, where if you do a mission and you die, it's kind of it. But if you're playing with friends, you can pick each other up and it doesn't count as a death because they can, you know, revive you more or less, revive you. And so it's not very much designed, I think, around single player, which isn't too bad. Like, I would just do random squads. I played a little bit with my brother-in-law. But overall, I think I enjoyed this game for what it was. It was free, it was fun, gunplay was fun, I enjoyed all the characters. So with that said, I think I'm going to give the first Descendant a 7 out of 10. If you guys haven't played it yet, I would recommend it. I don't know if I'd highly recommend it, but it's a free game. I enjoyed it. The gunplay was fun. And if you're just kind of looking for a game to just kind of play a little bit after work and zone out and not have to worry too much, it's team-based. You're not playing against other players. You're playing against NPCs and, you know, bosses and enemies and whatnot. So I had a good time for what it was. I do plan on trying to get the platinum. Like I said, I only have like 1 trophy left, or maybe, well, 2 counting the platinum, where I have to give a mod to like 10 different things. So it's like 5 weapons and 5 Descendants, something like that. So I'm really close. It is very grindy, but you know, for a free game, I don't really mind that because you didn't pay for it. So if you don't really like it, you could always play something else. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. Let me know down in the comments below if you've played the first Descendant. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we do stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. as well as Saturday at 8 a.m. And those are both Mountain Standard Time. So if you guys are interested, make sure you're subscribed so you can be notified for that. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.